who was Rome's greatest enemy? You might say Attila the Hun or Arminius. Those are all great shouts. Attila the Hun terrorized the empire in the 5th century, and Arminius devastated Rome at the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest, even making Augustus cry. But Rome's true greatest enemy was Hannibal Barca of Carthage. Let's rewind a bit. In the early centuries of Rome's rise, its most dangerous threat did not come from northern forests or eastern deserts, but from across the sea. Carthage was a wealthy and powerful city-state in North Africa, dominating trade routes and commanding one of the strongest navies in the ancient world. While Rome expanded through land warfare and raw manpower, Carthage built its empire through commerce, colonies, and control of maritime trade. Conflict between the two powers was inevitable. This rivalry erupted into the Punic Wars, brutal conflicts that would decide who ruled the Western Mediterranean. The First Punic War dragged on for decades, fought largely at sea, and ended with Rome victorious. Carthage was humiliated, forced to surrender territory, and pay enormous reparations. But out of this defeat emerged a new generation of Carthaginian leaders determined on revenge. At the center of this was Hannibal Barca. Hannibal was raised to hate Rome. According to tradition, he swore an oath as a child never to be a friend of Rome. By early adulthood, he was already an experienced general commanding Carthaginian forces in Spain. While Rome expected the next war to be fought in Sicily or Africa, Barca planned something far more audacious. He would invade the Italian peninsula itself. In 218 BC, Hannibal led his army from Spain, crossing the Pyrenees, then marching through southern Gaul, before attempting the near impossible task of crossing the Alps. The march was brutal. Snow, starvation, hostile tribes, and exhaustion destroyed much of his force. Yet against all expectations, Hannibal emerged in northern Italy with a hardened army and war elephants, stunning the Roman Republic. Rome was completely unprepared. What followed was a nightmare. Hannibal smashed Roman armies at the Battle of the Trebia in 218 BC, then ambushed another force at Lake Trasimene in 217 BC, where an entire Roman army was destroyed in fog and confusion. Panic spread across Italy as Rome struggled to understand how one commander could inflict such devastation. The worst came in 216 BC at the Battle of Cannae. Rome assembled one of the largest armies in its history, determined to crush Hannibal once and for all. Instead, Hannibal executed a masterpiece of battlefield tactics, surrounding and annihilating the Roman force. Tens of thousands were slaughtered in a single day. Senators died. Commanders were wiped out. Rome lost an entire generation of soldiers. Hannibal had killed around 250,000 Romans by the end of the war. For the first time in centuries, the Republic genuinely feared extinction. Italian allies defected. Confidence collapsed. Hannibal roamed Italy for more than a decade, undefeated in battle, shattering Rome's reputation and exposing its weaknesses. Every year he remained in Italy was a humiliation for the Romans, yet Barca never marched on Rome itself. Why remains one of history's great questions. Lacking siege equipment, reinforcements, and consistent support from Carthage, Hannibal was forced into a long war of attrition. Meanwhile, Rome adapted. Refusing to face Hannibal directly again, Roman commanders adopted delaying tactics, shadowing his movements and cutting off his supplies. Slowly, Rome recovered. The Romans struck back where Hannibal could not defend. Roman forces pushed Carthage out of Spain, severing its resources. A young and ambitious commander, Scipio Africanus, studied Hannibal's methods and turned them against Carthage itself. When Scipio invaded Africa, Carthage was forced to recall Hannibal from Italy. In 202 BC, Hannibal faced Rome one final time at the Battle of Zama. This time, the advantage lay with Rome. Hannibal was outmatched, his veterans exhausted, his resources depleted. Scipio defeated him decisively. Carthage sued for peace, and was stripped of its empire, reduced to a secondary power. Rome had survived. but it would never forget how close it had come to destruction. Hannibal forced Rome to rethink warfare, strategy, and survival. No enemy before or after inflicted such sustained terror on the Republic. Even centuries later, Roman parents were said to frighten their children with a single phrase: "Hannibal is at the gates." Carthage itself would not survive much longer. In 146 BC, Rome destroyed the city completely during the Third Punic War, ensuring it would never rise again. Yet even in total victory, Rome could not erase Barca's legacy. So when we ask who Rome's greatest enemy truly was, the answer is not the one who finally defeated Rome, but the one who nearly destroyed it at its height. Hannibal Barca came closer than anyone else. Rome defeated him in the end, but only just.